Anyone who follows pop culture knows Kid Cudi and Kanye West's relationship has been very rocky as of late. However, the relationship is rooted in over 10 years of friendship, where they support each other musically and even through one another's mental illness struggles. Like any great friends, especially those who are very headstrong, Ye and Cudi have had their fair share of disagreements and falling outs. But who's to say that they won't end up being friends once again once the dust settles? The beginning of the relationship starts as far back as 2005 when Cudi had just moved from Cleveland to New York City to pursue his dream of becoming a rapper. He was checking out some CDs when Kanye rode up right beside him, perusing through CDs himself. Cudi, who was shocked, introduced himself, showed Ye some of his music, and asked him if he'd sign him. Kanye told him nah unless you're on some Biggie or Tupac type of stuff, and that was that. As if destiny were calling, Cudi again would run into Ye a year later while working at Bape in New York City. He actually recalls of this time of when he forgot to take a sensor off of Ye's jacket, so he had to run after him out of the store. Finally, in 2007, Cudi and Kanye would link up in a non-coincidental way when Plain Pat, who was managing Kanye at the time, showed Ye a song called Day and Night from Cudi's MySpace page. Liking what he heard, Kanye brought Cudi to Hawaii to work on his album 808s and Heartbreak, while Jay-Z was also working on the Blueprint 3. On 808s, Cudi has writing credits on Heartless, Welcome to Heartbreak, Paranoid, and RoboCop. He was even the mastermind behind the Heartless chorus. While working in Hawaii, Cudi recalls an experience of when he was particularly nervous in front of Kanye while he was trying to demonstrate his artistry.
I'm out there for maybe all of 10, 15 minutes. Kanye comes out. He's like, so what you got? Yeah, man, I got this this one idea. I don't know if you like it or not, but this is it. He's like, tell me. So it was like, oh, they want me to fall from the top. They want me to stop. They want me to drop. Yo, record that right now.
The hook he delivered would actually end up making it onto Jay-Z's Blueprint 3. After showing out in Hawaii, Ye decided to officially sign Cudi to his label Good Music in 2008, and that began their friendship and working career as music partners. Cudi would release his two genre-bending Man on the Moon series in 2009 and 2010, while also featuring heavily on Kanye's 2010 album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. However, in 2012, we would get the first glimpse into a slight knock to Cudi and Ye's relationship at the hands of the Good Music compilation album, Cruel Summer. Cudi was weirdly not featured on any songs other than his own solo song called Creepers, which was actually meant for Man on the Moon 2. When asked about it in an interview with Complex, Cudi said he was a little disappointed, but Kanye had a vision for that, and whatever that vision was, it didn't include him. Not long after this interview, Cudi would announce his next album, Indicud, which was dropping in 2013, would be his last under Good Music, as he planned to go solo under his Wicked Awesome record label. He mentioned that the decision was hard given Ye was like a big brother to him, but in talking to Kanye on the phone, he was very understanding of his decision. Fast forward a year later to 2014, and Cudi takes a subtle jab at Kanye over the feature he had on Yeezus. He told Complex again in an interview that he only found out about his feature on Guilt Trip through Twitter. He said he was confused why Ye wouldn't tell him he was using him as a feature on the song, and instead of bringing him into the studio, would simply opt to just sample his vocals from a session years prior. There may have been some tension here, but not enough to tear the two apart, as in 2015, the following year, the two took the Hollywood Bowl to perform Heartless. Additionally, for Ye's 2016 album, The Life of Pablo, Cudi was again featured and in this time was actually brought in for the recording sessions. The two would be seen living it up at the album's launch party at MSG. Yet this would be short-lived, as just months after, Cudi would release a flurry of manic tweets calling out the hip-hop industry for being fake and directly tweeting at Kanye. Not taking this too lightly, that night while on tour for The Life of Pablo, Kanye would respond to Cudi.
Kid Cudi, don't ever mention your name. I birthed you.
Now, it was very clear the two were beefing. But interestingly enough, Kanye took the high road in this situation just a week later while on tour again, would stop his show to praise Cudi and said, the most important artist of the past 10 years, the most influential, I hope he's doing well. A month later, Cudi would check himself into rehab after releasing a long, heartfelt, and vulnerable message to his fans on Facebook, where he noted, yesterday, I checked myself into rehab for depression and suicidal urges. I am not at peace. Again, Kanye showed love to his longtime friend and asked fans to sing and pray for Cudi while Kanye was out performing in Los Angeles. After his release from rehab, Kanye would bring Cudi on stage to share a moment together as friends and perform Father Stretch My Hands. Just a month later, Kanye would deal with some mental health issues himself, as while still on his Life of Pablo tour, he canceled the rest of shows and checked into a hospital after suffering a mental breakdown. After this incident, Kanye was out of the limelight for a while, until a year later when Cudi would now be the one bringing Kanye out at a show in Chicago. The two would again perform Father Stretch My Hands. Throughout 2017, Cudi and Ye began working on their joint album Kidcudi Ghosts in Japan. Although it was worked on for a while, they didn't actually announce the album until 2018, just 2 months prior to the album's release, as part of the 7-song Wyoming album series. The joint album was a huge success, which was a relief for Cudi since his previous albums since leaving Good Music in 2013 weren't performing well critically nor commercially. Cudi himself mentioned how the album and Kanye saved him, saying, working on that record saved me. At the time I didn't know if I was going to keep making music or not, and Kanye was there for me. To help me get up, he said. At the moment I really needed it. Since 2018, Kanye's mental health seems to be declining rapidly, and it has taken an effect on not only his music, but personal life too. An example of such is when he both endorsed Trump and also ran for president himself. While performing at SNL with Cudi, Kanye even stopped the show while wearing his MAGA hat to give a lengthy speech about free thinking. It's obvious from the SNL cast, Cudi, and other performers there that they are far from amused by this behavior. Yet Cudi refused to let Ye's political turmoil and manic behavior get in the way of their friendship. At least initially, as when asked about it, Cudi said, "That's my brother. I'll go on record, that's my brother. But that doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything he says," and he does. But then the real insanity began when Pete Davidson and Kim started dating. Since Cudi brought Pete into their circle initially for his birthday party where Kim, Kanye, and Timothée Chalamet were in attendance, it seemed like Kanye was waiting for Cudi to choose him or Pete in this seeming war he started with SNL star. These convos between Kanye and Cudi were mostly behind the scenes, until Kanye posted on Instagram a note saying Cudi won't be on the album because he's friends with you-know-who. Not one to take a public outing lightly, Cudi immediately fired back in the comment section saying how he didn't want to be on it and that he himself has been the best thing about Ye's album since he met him. Cudi then took to Twitter to call out Ye for trying to flip the script as they talked weeks ago about this, seemingly hinting at the idea that the two had settled the situation amongst themselves before Kanye decided to publicly expose Cudi. Kanye provided more rationale the next day, doubling down and saying that Cudi has always made it seem like it was me and him against everyone, and how now that I'm fighting for my family, he's not by my side. He also posted a picture of Cudi's birthday dinner saying, "I just wanted my friend to have my back." In the past, whenever Ye and Cudi had falling outs, it wouldn't last more than a handful of months. However, with this latest falling out, it seems it may be for a longer time as Cudi reinforced this position when Pusha T released the track list for his album, and there was a Cudi and Ye feature. In response to this, Cudi took to Twitter to explain that the song was recorded a year ago, and that he only cleared it for Push because that's my guy, but said he, Kanye, is not my friend. When Push himself was asked about Ye and Cudi, he said,
"You know, man, just the things that happen, brothers fight.
Family business.
That's it. Brothers fight, man, and sometimes it go far, and you know, I don't know. Hopefully we can all figure it out though."
As a really huge hip-hop fan myself, I know the story surrounding Kanye and Cudi's relationship and the falling out. But prior to really diving deep into the research for this video, I was very much on the side of Cudi and wrote Kanye off as acting irrational. However, I feel like Kanye had been supportive of Cudi when he had his mental health breakdown in 2016, where he called Kanye out by tweet. Kanye embraced Cudi, not initially, but a week later by stopping his show and saying he was the most important artist of the last 10 years, and that he hopes he's well. Then when Cudi checked into rehab, again Kanye supported him publicly. Still, I do think Kanye is completely in the wrong here for how he brought Cudi and his own conversation around Pete Davidson to the limelight and potentially flipped the narrative that they both had agreed upon. Yet I feel like Kanye is in a very vulnerable and manic position, and if anyone, Cudi should be able to empathize with this and rather push him away and brace him to try to help him with healing. I really don't think this is the end of Cudi and Kanye's relationship, as we've seen countless times the two are both strong-headed and emotional people. I think with time and as Kanye recoups, the two will embrace each other once again. I feel like when your relationship goes that deep, it's almost impossible to not keep that person in your life, especially with the status of fame they both have. What do you think will happen with the two? Let me know in the comments, and if you like this video, hit the subscribe button as I'll be dropping more like these every month.